Welcome to the UAT Game Studios for the first milestone of the new dev cycle. We are here with 4 teams who are presenting today. We look forward to the work that you've all been doing and seeing that in your build. I'd like to introduce to you Derek Clark, who's joining us this semester as our program champion and our instructor.
All right, first off, a couple quick things. Who participated in the game jam last weekend? Good to see. Really good. I know as a judge, one of the things I was impressed with was every game was in the running for the awards, versus there are some game jams where it's like, well, these half are okay, and we're just going to set those aside and judge the other ones. So really good job. Also a really good freshman turnout. Different estimates, but somewhere between a third and a half of the people were freshmen. So thank you for helping them, supporting them, and bringing them up to speed. We did some quick math. There was 50 to 60 people who were on teams that finished a project, and 75 to 80 that were total here. Some people were in and out, didn't stay for the whole weekend, different things like that. So really good. Thank you for your participation there. We are in talks about doing another one this term. Try to get one in either in November or December. We're also in talks of doing 2 in the spring, both the Global Game Jam, and we've got a local studio that's wanting to sponsor a game jam with some prizes and stuff like that. So really good stuff coming from there. So thank you. Good job. My kids were impressed with the work that you did. Couple just quick reminders. Know that fall is holiday ridden. We've already had 1. There are 3 more that are going to happen at least. So you've got Veterans Day and Thanksgiving, both in November. So every other week in November is going to be a holiday. And then we've also got a in-service in December that's been moved to a Friday. So it's like in week 14, right towards the end. We are most likely going to present the projects for our green light that we normally do on our own as part of SIP Day. So we're going to have like a feature slot during SIP. So I'm working on that right now. Then we will get a separate for pitching new projects. That'll probably be in week 15, I would guess, just to make that happen. As we move forward, this is week 4. Next week will be week 5. Well, it doesn't directly affect this group, but maybe this group more. We are bringing in a 4th member of the team that's going to be an official instructor of record for the online 381 and online 41. His name is Steve Merka. He's a lead designer, almost producer now at Sony, working on Major League Baseball, the show. And so he's going to also become a mentor and kind of help with kind of the production stuff, which is exactly what he's doing at Sony right now. He's setting up their production studio stuff and different things like that. Steve's also alumni, so maybe you may have met him at different times. So we'll be bringing him in, so welcome him when he gets started in week 6. What else do I need, Lynn?
We're live streaming today.
We are live streaming today. You may see Lynn walking around with a weird camera. We are trying to get a lot more just interaction between the online and the on-campus groups, but also get footage of what we do here. So you may see a camera on a tripod sitting around doing different things. I think I was instructed, let's all be professional. Don't make weird gestures at the camera. If you have to pick something, do it in private. Any other warnings? That should be good. But yeah, just kind of do what you normally do. Operate as a studio, build stuff, work hard, but it will be live streamed for a good chunk of the day. I think that's most of the things I care about. We may or may not do discipline meetings today. We'll still have the leads meeting. I think we're just going to keep discipline meetings on a come and grab us if you need a discipline meeting, or if you want to meet up as designers, programmers, artists. But given where we're at, and given that we didn't actually meet on Friday, you guys probably have plenty to get done. So we would rather give you the time to work in your teams, but it doesn't mean that if you need something, come and grab us. We can have one-off discipline meetings if a group needs it. But for the most part, we'll touch base maybe real quick and say, hey, is everybody okay? But let's get right back into production so that we can make up for some of these missed days. And then going back to that as well, just because we're missing a day because of a holiday doesn't mean you still don't have to get that week's work done. It just means we're not meeting physically all day. I'm working on the week 14 Friday that we're going to miss, actually having them allow us to run as normal, even though it's an in-service, because I think a good chunk of the in-service is going to be off-site, so it won't actually conflict with anything going on here. I will keep you informed on that one. Obviously, Veterans Day and Thanksgiving are holidays, so I can't really change that. All right, I think then we're ready to get started with the reviews. So, looking forward to seeing what you guys got done in the first 3 weeks. Then,
all right, Morpheus, come on up. Yeah, adjust your camera first.
Howdy, folks. I'm Harlan. You probably don't see me much nowadays. I'm the art director for Morpheus. And this is Todd. He's pretty much number 2 when it comes to the project and programming, especially. So yeah, Morpheus. This semester we've mostly been focusing on a couple forms instead of all dozen of them. We're just going to focus on 2, if you would like. There you go. And so, with that said, we're actually focusing on the 2 forms, slime and wolf, and we've actually started refining the documentation for the various levels, just focusing on these forms instead of building levels around 12 forms. It makes it a lot easier to just make more cohesive maps and interactive environments. You can go to the next one. So these are some more white boxes of some of the things we're currently building to test out, and if you like. We've even discussed what mechanics we truly want for each form. For a while there we were getting a little complex with how many abilities each form has, some of them overlapping. So we're refining them down to core mechanics, and here you can see Ashley's animations of some of the slime's ability for multiplying, breaking down, and just some basic movements. You can go again. We've got a few prototypes in-game of the hero and the slime. In this setting, we're trying to refine how the slime itself can actually move through different barriers that other forms cannot due to its more slime-like physiology. You can go to the next one. And we even have other folks programming different shaders and effects that we can use to work with the other forms, such as Magball and his ability to react to very particular items in the map, if you like. We've been working with this large basic asset bundle, and it's been a very chunky art style, and it's actually been rather inefficient. If you ever looked at the models, they actually had a lot of duplicate vertices, making our frame rate drop. So we're actually making our own unique models. That way the levels themselves have a more polished look to them. These are just some of the basics that we've been making, like, what was it, this week pretty much? Yeah. And we've even been remodeling the actual characters. These are a few. The cockatrice I made within some of my free time, just trying to get a particular look. It's rigged and set up for animation. And the wolf itself is going through some design choices, so just to test out animations, we've got a basic mesh and started rigging it until we really refine what it's supposed to look like. The slime, as you saw in the build, is just a immobile mass. These are some basic iterations of the new mesh for the slime between its large, medium, and small forms. It's all rigged, it's broken up into different walk, jump, squish cycles, and these are just some of the basic renderings to test out in game. You can go on. And yeah, that's the majority of it. We're just refining our look, refining mechanics, and working around a couple forms at a time. That way we have more cohesive levels, and it's more playable, and we can refine the gameplay. Is there anything I missed, Todd?
No,
Tosh, could you bounce back to your paper mech slide?
Yeah.
So is this, the one on the left here, is this like a nature-based area?
Yes.
What are your pollination points? What will those be in the game?
Pollination is it's a way to affect the environment. So one of the forms has the ability to collect pollen and make plants grow.
Okay.
So it can create like different structures by causing the plants to grow certain ways.
Now is the desire for your pollination points to be very organized? Like you've got like a grid going, and the first thing I think of when I see something that should be nature driven is nature doesn't line stuff up perfectly.
Right.
And it could just be the paper map isn't accurate and you're going to change that, but I would look for things like that. I mean, that looks man-made as opposed to nature-made. And so if you vary some of that kind of stuff around, I think it could make the level a little more organic. Would be a concern. But
We've actually discussed this with some of the designers. A lot of them went with hedge mages and stuff like that. We've discussed,
which are very
more organized. We've wanted the world to have more of like this ancient feel, so there wouldn't be as many man-made structures.
Okay.
So along the lines of, rigid natural growth, we've explained that we want it to be a bit more wild. I think this is more of like a basic test map to figure out if the mechanics work right. But yeah, part of my job is telling designers how to like visually make a forest
even on a
field.
hedge maze, right? If if the pollination point is a flower, you can put them at different heights, even if they're every corner or something like that. So, but I was just curious. Because when I saw this, it's very mechanical.
Indeed.
Feeling.
Yeah, we've discussed different level layouts. There was even like a map that had several heights, different levels to it, be it underground, ground level, and even canopy level. And Roger, myself, and the other designers, we discussed how to make that feel more organic, as well as incorporate, the basic hedge mage style. So yeah, these are just really rough maps that we have right now.
Awesome.
Any other feedback or questions? No? Everyone's all right? Okay, cool.
Looking forward to seeing this.
My name is Alex Watson. I'm the team lead for Operation Red Rhino, and this is our Milestone 1 review. We had to spend a lot on onboarding for this milestone, bringing on a whole bunch of new team members. We went from 4 team members to about 12, so it was a lot of bringing people on, getting them familiar with the project, getting them into all of our systems, and get everybody on the same page. A lot of pre-production. We brought a ton of artists on board. Darby's coming on to do, I'll show off some of her character work. Brenda is also doing character work. We have Tristan doing weapons, and then we have 2 new level designers also that came on board. So a lot of people coming in, a lot of people making a lot of pre-production, a lot of planning. Eric's been working hard getting the systems design all cleaned up and stuff. It's kind of a mess last semester, so he's been doing a real good job of cleaning up all those Excel files and getting those all in order. The other big thing, we upgraded engines. We went from Unreal Engine 4.13 to Unreal Engine 4.17, so it was a big jump for us. And then with that, Chase, our new programmer, had a lot of time to work on optimization. He worked on knocking out a bunch of editor errors that we were having that were really slowing down our build times. So now our build times went from a couple of hours to taking under an hour to do. So it's really awesome. It's going to speed up our pipeline a ton. And then he also did a lot optimizing our textures, how our levels are streamed, and how our lighting is handled. So we got a big hit. I mean, a big jump in our frame rate. We got the second base node in, and that's all gray boxed out and ready for playtesting. And then we got our G3A1 and our M16A1 in, fully rigged, fully modeled, fully textured, and all those are working. So here is our character pre-production that Darby worked on. It's looking great right now. This is for our Allied Forces character. She spent a lot of time looking at the historical accuracy of kind of the area that we're looking at and what the soldiers at that time were wearing. So she's making a lot of progress on that, and then as far as I know, she's going to be moving into the 3D side of things for this coming sprint. This is our second base node. This is all white boxed out, playable. We're going to be playtesting that this week, moving forward with that one. And then these are the two weapons that we got in, the G3A1. We had shown off the model last semester for that one. Tristan went back, retextured it. We figured out how to get those materials into Unreal, got it fully rigged. It was rigged a little wonky last semester, so we got that one fixed. And then the M16 he actually took from nothing to in-game and working over this last sprint. So that was actually, he did a lot of work, and he spent, I want to give a big shout out to Tristan because he spent a ton of time last Friday sitting with me getting that in. It took us from about 9 in the morning to almost 6 at night to get that M16 in. So it was a pretty big deal getting that in. And then we should be going to the build now so that I can show off. We'll show off that new map. And then Nathan, our online programmer, he had a ton of time to start working on the game modes. He got a no respawn game mode in that we did not have before. So that is going to be pretty instrumental. He has that working on the start node. We're going to go to the new node so I can show that off, and we will show off the new weapons there. Throw the M16 on. Ooh. Before I blow everybody's ears out, let me turn this down. Hold on. I don't want to shoot this gun. Oh no. Yeah, it won't let me right now. Alright. So we got this in. It fires. It has the working iron sights and everything. We have a working reload animation, and then it also, when you empty the magazine, it rolls through and even pulls the pulls everything back there. So that's actually a real nice looking weapon. Unfortunately, I have to quit out and rejoin so that I can change my weapon the way that it's set up right now, so that I can set the G3 up. But getting that M16 in and working was a huge step for us. It really showed us the errors in our import pipeline. When we initially brought it in, it was about 3 times bigger than the actual person in the game. So it looked like a rocket launcher on his shoulder. But now that we got that all hammered out, it's going to make importing the weapons pretty much painless for the rest of the semester. So then we also have our G3 in there, and then Eric's going to be working on getting all of the recoil patterns down, working on getting the damage modifiers down, and all that for across the rolls moving forward. That's going to be our big thing that we're going to be hitting this next sprint, is getting those rolls and the rolls abilities outlined and laid out and start getting those implemented. And I guess I can run up here and show off kind of. So our second base node, like the first base node we did, it's a tiered game mode system where the attacking team coming into this, they have 3 points that will unlock based on how many nodes you have captured before that. Each zone that you capture as the attacking team will grant your team a respawn. So coming in with more of the map captured beforehand is actually advantageous for the attacking team, and it'll help you out for your final push there. So we've been working a lot on fleshing out the more warehouse side of the map. Last semester we focused a lot on the jungle and the little villages around the map. We want to come in, start fleshing out the warehouses and stuff. So that's what we're working on in here, trying to get some fun gunfights, get our destructible wall points in, And other than that, it's really just kind of full steam ahead. Now that we have a programmer dedicated to the game modes, we'll start getting this stuff in and working and looking real nice real fast. So that is all we have for this sprint. Thank you very much.
So I've seen big head mode. Did you have big gun mode as a new feature?
Accidentally we did. Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen it again as big gun mode.
Yeah, the way that the character was holding it, the muzzle was actually like half in the dirt as you ran around.
Hi everyone, my name is Bart Driscoll. I'm the project lead for the game Random Rebellion. Up here with me is our lead programmer, Alex Wohl. So, for this sprint, our main goals were to, one, get all of our team members online and on ground on board, get them up to speed with our Axosoft and our Slack channels, as well as getting them all tested out and getting them, just giving them the knowledge of what the game is. Other than that, our goals were to set up the planning for the rest of the semester, to make our temple map better, which I'll show you, and to work more on our user experience, our main menu, loading times, that sort of thing. So, our temple map, we got a lot of work done on it last semester, but going into this semester, me and our environment artist talked about it, and we figured out that, or we pretty much just discussed that we didn't really like how it was laid out, how the gameplay was going with it. It didn't feel right, so we needed to change it up a little bit. And one of the changes that we're making with it is, to explain it better, we have a lot of the area as an interior kind of area and a little bit of exterior of a garden area, and we wanted to kind of switch it up because we were getting tired of seeing these long, boring, flat hallways. So we wanted to make it bigger organic areas with small little interior areas to connect them, just to break up the exterior areas. So that's what we're going to try and do this semester. Other than that, we have one of our online artists, our character online artist, working on the concept for one of our characters that isn't done yet. He's done amazing work on taking our input from me, our artists, our shareholders, to get this kind of exoskeleton, armored, technological beast of a person, as you can see, who's going to be sort of the front lines warrior for the steampunk team. One of our other characters, Matthew, this is the more assassin character for the other team that he started work on last semester, and then he's getting further and further on it this semester. This was a couple weeks ago, but I haven't gotten an update from him recently. I'd like to see it textured. Other than that, we have the build. You'd like to take it, Alex? So like I said, one of the biggest things that I wanted better in the build is load times and what was actually going on the screen during the load. So we have it launch up with our shareholders company's logo, the UAT logo, and then kick onto a loading screen that one of our shareholders made for us. It was a screen that he made for any kind of purpose, and we decided to put it best to use as a loading screen. It displays the name and two of the most complete characters we have, as well as a load icon for showing the two teams' kind of icons. Trust me, it is better load time. There we go. Another big change is we went from a static image main menu to a more live menu. As you can see, when he clicks on different parts of the menu, it flies to a different part of the map, showing off a different character, doing something different. As you can see, one of the characters is sitting there at a bookshelf, looking at books, deciding which one to read, blah, blah, blah. One is standing by the fountain, all impressive like. Another one is standing on the balcony, looking over, pondering. you forget the password? And we have this character who's sneaking about, who's not supposed to be there, I guess. And then the last little bit is we cleaned up a little bit of it to load into the actual gameplay map a bit better. It used to take, I don't know what, upwards of 20 seconds?
Somewhere around 30 seconds, probably.
Yeah, it wasn't great, and now it's down to 6 or so. And that's what we've been working on so far this sprint. Next sprint, hopefully we'll have more of the map, more of the characters, more visuals to show off. Thank you.
I didn't do it.
There it goes.
Hi, good morning everybody. My name is Austin Harrington. I'm the creator of Call Center Simulator. We've had a very interesting first sprint, so let's get right into it. Our designers have been working on getting a finalized GDD ready for our release in January. And so we are probably 30-40 pages into a GDD. We're at less than 15 before, so it's been a massive overhaul for us. Beyond that, the way that our environments work, we're essentially in a building. Every level is, every floor of the building is going to be a little bit different, and so we're paper mapping the next floors in our areas. They will be procedural, and so, or modular rather, so we'll have game spaces that will fit into, there'll be 4 on every level of the building, and so we're trying to build out more game spaces for players. Our artists have been hard at work, and so we've had a few more artists that we brought on, and we are teaching the ones that are a little bit newer how to do some of the more advanced stuff, and obviously some of our more advanced artists are doing really great stuff for us. One of the things that I've talked about before, but some of us I know are new, we want to have assets in the game that we can interact with. This is a VR game, so for instance with our printer you'll be able to open the scanner and likely be able to scan things that we haven't worked through that entirely yet. We'll have drawers where you can open it up, you can pull paper out, you can do fun things with that. Moving on, we'll also have drawers like these. We'll have markers and pens that we're looking right now at getting full functionality, so you'll be able to write on walls and that kind of thing, have whiteboards, a trash can, which is actually a part of our UI that we're hoping to be able to show off in the next couple sprints. Programming has been very interesting. So one of the difficulties of working with cutting edge technology is sometimes things just don't work. And that's something that, unfortunately, at the beginning of our semester, we've been dealing with. And so we've been solving technology issues internally that we've been experiencing. And so one of the ways that we've dealt with that is we have bought 2 more server machines to help us kind of carry the load and make sure that we can remain in control of our servers. On top of that, with Spatial OS, the way we're doing our multiplayer, there is a new programming language that is associated with that called Schema. What that means is any programmer that has come onto the project has to work in a language they don't know. It interacts directly with C#, so you'll need that to know that language as well. But there is an orientation time with that. And so we have a bunch of new programmers, and they've all been hard at work kind of working with Spatial OS, trying to better understand how Schema works with C# so that we can get started on really finishing our early access version of this game. We're also working on a source control solution. As some of you know, if you've used Unity Colab, that is going away. It was a really great thing for us. Unfortunately, our spatial files would not upload to Colab. This means that we had issues getting our schema scripts updated. It meant that we were having to go back and revise a lot of our code to solve errors. And so right now we are working on a Unity widget that will also take that and upload it to GitHub, but we'll be able to pull down the complete build, so we're not going to have to be spending hours resolving issues every time we update. So moving on, we did have tech issues. We were trying to figure out how to get everyone into working with Spatial OS. And so with the Game Jam, we felt we had an amazing opportunity to get everyone in one room, get the programmers in one room, and really start hammering out how this works, find the issues that we might have, and start resolving them. And so we made a game that is not entirely complete. We're hoping to finish it this weekend, called Communication Meltdown. It's a 4-player multiplayer game using the Spatial OS system, and we felt really proud of what we got done. We were a little bit disappointed to not have it done by the time we finished the Game Jam, but it has made it on the list after Call Center Simulator as the next Monster Vault game. We are very excited about getting this out, and we're very excited to have a prototype, so some of you may see that around later this semester. Again, we feel like the look of the game was really solid. All of these buttons, the levers, the phone are all fully interactable. They all have gameplay elements associated with them. And it is asymmetric gameplay where it is a boss essentially giving orders to three other employees by way of the phone. So we had some mechanics we really liked. The reactor in the center is fully animated. So each one of these rods will move. We actually have a coolant system. So the timer for our gameplay mode is the coolant basically going down within the chamber. It's boiling off and turning into vapor, and the reactor explodes if you don't deal with a meltdown in the reactor before the coolant is gone. This is not Call Center Simulator, but it gave us an amazing opportunity to work together and really start hashing out our problems with Spatial OS. So I'm very proud of the team for that. One of the issues associated with our technology problems was our build. So traditionally, we really like showing builds. We have not missed a build review yet, and that is frustrating. But we have resolved most of our technology issues. Our next sprint, we're going to have a bunch to show. I was considering showing a trailer. I'm not really sure that's necessary right now. You guys saw it at Greenlight. So I am going to turn it back over to Derek Lynn. But thank you so much for listening, and I can't wait to see you guys in the next sprint.
All right, excellent progress. Everybody give yourselves another round of applause for the first milestone. All right, before I let you out of here, let's go ahead and review today's agenda. The schedule. You've got a half an hour for lunch before the leads need to be in that leads meeting. So please come join me in room 106 today for the leads meeting. What I want you to bring is that OPPM document with you, and with as many upgrades as you can get on board, and we'll discuss the next iteration of that. We've got some other issues to discuss and resolve, and then we likely are going to dismiss the discipline meetings today.
Just let us know if you need something and we can play it by ear.
Yeah, we're all on board, Hugh and Derek and I. I've got an LSC list over here. Make sure you get on that if you need help as an artist, so that I can make sure you get the support that you need. That'll give teams extra time to make sure that everybody is tasked for that next sprint. All right, anything else?
No, I don't think so. Good progress. I like that you guys all had a focus. For Austin there at the end, I like the strategy of, if we need to get people up to speed on technology, doing a second project to do that, so you don't hose up your main project while you're still learning. That's a good strategy. It was really cool to see the Reign of Rebellion interface changes and concentrating on things like load times and optimizations. Yeah, I liked what I saw.
Professor Hugh, anything to add?
No, everything just looked great. Really well done. A lot of good work.
As an artist, I love the aesthetics on each game, and excellent changes there. Reign and Rebellion, I love to see that professionalism upgrade. All right, so we will see you.
We've been talking a little bit. I mean, this might be one of the strongest group of projects that we have, so let's finish really, really strong. Something else I want you to just, everybody, and I'll probably talk to the leads more about this as well, but everybody I want you to keep in the back of your mind is teams are bigger this term as well. And so towards the end of the term, from everybody, I'm going to be asking for feedback of like, what was better, what was worse, did you like it, did you not like it, because more people isn't always better. So pay attention to things, not only of the game that you're making, but how it's made, the process, the interactions and stuff like that. Because we'll be looking for that feedback so we can keep always improving our processes as well. But yeah, we have the opportunity by the end of this term to just have an amazing show. So keep pushing, and I'm excited. Now I'm done.
Speaking
I'll quit talking.
speaking of feedback, we already have some excellent midterm feedback from our online people.
I'm back. I don't know if anybody noticed they started putting the PCs in Cuban Pete's. It's not Cuban Pete's, but the cafe. Those are kind of for us to use. So while we will put like older studio games on there, and I'll work with you guys on this, if you guys want to have builds put out there and collect feedback from the student body all week, that's something that we can do. So be thinking about that as an opportunity. I just noticed they were starting to install them yesterday or the day before. So that is something that we don't have a ironed out process yet of how we're going to do it, but we can push updated builds out to those, get people in and playing. You know, I'm sure we could pop up some forums and stuff and get some feedback for you guys. So think about that and how you can integrate that in to get some feedback from the population here as a whole, and it could definitely help as well. Okay, I'm going to pretend I'm done now.
All right.
Sure, something else will come up.
I'm pausing on purpose.
Yeah, pause.
Okay.
Kick him out of here before I say something else.
All right, online people have been very great about giving feedback already. So that feedback is going to go out to your leads and about the online experience, and we're bound to have some upgrades from that feedback. So don't hesitate to say things, negative or positive. It's the negatives that actually help us grow. And so thank you all for attending. Give our online people a round of applause for their contribution as well before we let them go. And go make games.